Drek, and more Drek. Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Phightins Final here on the Edge of Philly Sports with your boy Matty B. And it's amazing that people pay to see this crap. Phillies lose tonight 9-3 in an effort you wouldn't expect from a team that's 8 games away from clinching a playoff spot. Really, it's befuddling. It is very befuddling. The Christopher Sanchez, Michael Lorenzen piggyback. I don't know what you call it. Experiment was not successful at all. Each one was worse than the other. Lorenzen only lasted a third of an inning before he was mercifully yanked out. Sanchez kind of pinballed around there for about 4 innings before he was yanked out. And the Phillies showed absolutely no offensive fight tonight as they lose to the Atlanta Braves, who won for the first time since beating the Phillies and clinching the NL East back in Philadelphia 9-3. So, a lot to kind of unpack, a lot to get concerned about, a lot to talk about. And, one other point to this game that I want to make before we get into the box score. In the 3 runs the Phillies did score tonight was a 3-run homer by Bryce Harper. The Phillies have scored all their runs in this series via the home run. That is concerning me. And it's a stat that shouldn't concern me because this is what this team is, and it's been this way for at least 2 seasons now. But the fact that they cannot or will not hit the ball anywhere else in the field but over the fence is this not a way to live? It's not the way you're going to live, especially against a team like the Atlanta Braves. And Spencer Strider, who was dealing tonight on the mound for the Braves, really, I don't even know if the guy broke a sweat. Honestly, it was that dominant. It definitely reminded you of the pitchers of the past, the Greg Maddoxes, the Tom Glavins's, and the John Smoltz's. So Spencer Strider definitely doing his job tonight, keeping the Phillies off balance all night long. Walter, oops, did the Phillies really prove anything? The only win so far against the rehab starter Kyle Wright. Nolan needs a win tomorrow. Yeah, obviously that is another big question, Walter. As we get closer to the point of the season where there's no more Kansas City Royals, there's no more St. Louis Cardinals, there's no more Pittsburgh Pirates, and please, I mean no disrespect to those fan bases or those players or those organizations, but there's no room to hide anymore because the Spencer Striders of the world are what we're going to be facing here exclusively pretty much in the next 2 weeks, in about 2.5 weeks. So that's another concern. There's a lot of talk around town about the Braves and their postseason meltdowns throughout the last 25 years or so. And that is written and it is historical and it's proven. But does anybody out there really want anything to do with Ronald Acuna Jr. in the postseason? Does anybody? I mean, even the staunchest Philly fan, do they want to see Ronald Acuna Jr. In the postseason? Let's take a poll. Who would you rather face? Ronald Acuna Jr., Mookie Betts, or Freddie Freeman? I don't pick your poison there because you're going to eventually possibly see all 3 of them in the postseason. So just not a very concerning game across the board for the Phillies as they gear up for a playoff spot. Let's head over to Mr. and Mrs. Box Score because we got to do that. We got to go over this game. Phillies 3 runs on 4 putrid hits. The Braves 9 runs, 13 hits, and they were on performance all night. Acuna would get things going in the very first inning with a homer to make it 1-0. Then Pilar in the 4th would knock in Ozuna and Travis D'Armand to make it 3-0 Braves. In the 5th inning, more of the Braves. Olsen would walk in Acuna, making it 4-0. And then in the 5th inning, Ozuna would double in Albides and Riley to make it 6-0. That was the Lorenzen inning. That was the inning that Michael Lorenzen came in and really shouldn't have come in because he really didn't put up much of a fight. It was somewhat embarrassing to watch him kind of walk the bases loaded and then just. In the 5th inning continued on. Arcia would knock in, would actually sac fly in Matt Olson to make it 7-0. So the Braves, with that big 4-run 5th, kind of blew it open at that point. Then Bryce Harper got the Phillies back on the board. Maybe kind of some life, kind of hammered into the Phillies in the 6th inning, a 3-run jack to make it 7-3 Acuna. But then Ronald Acuna Jr., his 2nd homer of the night in the bottom of the 6th, 8-3. And then Ozuna would knock in Albanese to make it 9-3, and there you have it. As the Phillies were just pounded today, Ronald Acuna Jr. on the night, 3 hits, or 3 for 5 with three for five, 3 runs, 2 RBIs, and 2 home runs. His batting average is now up to 338. By the way, he's their leadoff batter. I think we talked about this last time I hosted uh, this show when the Braves were playing the Phillies. That's the leadoff hitter I want, not Mr. 198 on the other side there, who struck out 3 more times tonight. Not him. I want Ronald Acuna Jr. and his 338, and his 2 home runs, his contact hitting, his ability to get on base any way he can. That's who I want as a leadoff hitter, not home run or bust Mr. Schwarber. I don't want that no more. Albanese 2 for 4 with a walk. Riley 2 for 4 with a walk. Matt Olson 1 for 3 with 2 walks. Ozuna, he had a night again, 3 for 4, 1 run, 3 RBIs, and a walk. And it just kind of reads like this down the whole line. Kevin Pillar, 2 for 2. For the Phillies, yeah, again, Kyle Schwarber 1 for 4. He had a hit. I got to give him credit there, but he struck out 3 times. Batting average is now down to 198. Trey Turner 0 for 3 with a run. Yeah, he had a strike out. Bryce Harper, the only offensive plus for the Phillies tonight, 1 for 4 with a run, 3 RBIs, and the 3-run home run. And I am going to spare you the rest because it's not worth my time nor yours. Other offensive numbers for the Phillies, they only left 1 runner on base, so they only had 4 hits. All right, let's keep that into perspective. They barely got anybody on base, and obviously they left that one guy there. 1 for 3 with runners in scoring position. Again, 4 hits. Put it in context. It is what it is. They had another stolen base tonight. For the Braves, they left 8 on base because they were getting on base in abundance. And I guess thankfully for the Phillies, they were able to keep 8 of them on the bases, or it would have been a lot worse. They were 4 for 12 with runners in scoring position. Pitching, wow. Christopher Sanchez, maybe his worst start as a Philly this year. 4 innings, 7 hits, 3 runs. They were all earned. Yeah, he struck out 2 and walked 1. Gave up a homer. Michael Lorenzen came in for a third of an inning that I'm sure none of us want to look at. And what is up with Michael Lorenzen? What is his role on this team in the postseason? He's gone from what was the first 2 games he pitched for the Phillies? 17 innings, a no-hitter, Mr. Untouchable. Now he's very touchable. And I, take a coin from the movie Untouchables. But I'm not going to write that in blood on the wall. But, it is what it is here. He lasted a third of an inning, gave up 3 hits, 4 runs. They were earned. He walked 3, and they got him out of there with just 1 out recorded in his inning. Marte, Dominguez, and Covey dinked and dunked their way through the lineup as the Phillies pitching staff tonight gave up 6 walks, and they struck out 5 people. For the Braves, Spencer Strider, 18-5 now on the season, gets the win. 7 dominant innings, 4 hits, 3 runs, 3 earned runs. That was the homer. 11 strikeouts. He gave up the Harper home run. Minter and Jimenez would pitch for the Braves. Braves struck out 14 Phillies tonight. 14! As now the Phillies strikeout total is now up to 9. 9 a game. That's right. They're averaging 9 a game. And there you have 9-3. And all is not well, folks. All is not well in Phillies land as just a complete disappointing. Again, a team that's 8 games off the pace of a playoff spot is not supposed to come out against a team that I know the Braves are playing for an overall number 1, but give them more of a fight than this, guys. Come on. Again, a questionable decision by your manager to go with this kind of piggyback thing. Again, a questionable decision by your manager, and it bit the Phillies. It bit them hard. Junior Marte needs to stay off the playoff roster. Junior Marte and a couple others, Walter. Again, let's not pin it on Junior. All right, he kind of came in a bad spot, and I know he hasn't pitched well. Don't forget, though, at one point, the guy's ERA was at 27. So he's made progress throughout the season. But it's not Junior Marte. If you want to really kind of look at this, you got to look at the 2 starters. You got to look at what was up with Christopher Sanchez. Now, again, he is that 5th starter. It's hard for me to get too down on him because that's what a 5th starter is. He's kind of hit or miss. And Sanchez has been pretty good. Now, he is not a starting pitcher in the playoffs, which the talk about that recently has been very, very confusing because he should not be on your starting rotation in the playoffs. He's got to be in the bullpen. But the guy you brought in at the trade deadline, Michael Lorenzen, the guy who pitched a no-hitter for you guys about a month and a half ago, Now he's the guy that needs to be on the playoff starting rotation. Or are we going to do a Noah Syndergaard and send him to the bullpen too? Again, questionable moves, questionable acquisitions. Not good. It's just not good. I guess that's all I can really say. And Walter agrees with me and says true. Thank you, Walter. I appreciate your support. So there you have 9-3 Phillies. The series is now tied up at 1. Tomorrow will be the rubber game of this 3-game set for the Phillies return home and do their final homestand of 2023. It'll be against the final weekend homestand of 2023 against the New York Mets. And you know, I mean, all is not lost, obviously. All is not it's not time to strike the boats and burn them. I get that, but a lot of concerns because when this team loses, boy, they lose bad, don't they? Man. And what is it with me having to come up here and talk about these games? I mean, it seems like, and it's not, of course it's not been like that, but it definitely seems that I've had the opportunity or the mispleasure to come on and do this show in these types of games a lot this year. And I don't like it. I really don't. I don't like it. Let's take a look at your scores in Major League Baseball on this Tuesday night. Games that are still in progress. 7-6 Royals over the Guardians. Top of the fifth or bottom of the fifth, 5-1 Cubs over the Pirates. Not good. Bottom of the eighth, 6-3 Brewers over the Cardinals. Top of the seventh, Red Sox and Rangers tied up at 4. Top of the seventh, 9-5 Orioles over the Astros. By the way, that Cubs game was in a rain delay. That's why it's only in the fifth inning. So, yes, I should maybe turn on the old MLB app and watch that. Mariners 1-0 over the A's in the bottom of the third. Top of the second, or bottom of the second, out in Arizona, 5-2. Diamondbacks over the Giants, not good. Bottom of the third, Padres and Rockies, 0-0. Bottom of the first, 1-0 Tigers over the Dodgers out in LA. Games that have gone final, 6-2 Rays over the Angels, 7-0 Twins over the Reds, good. 4-3 Marlins over the Mets, not good. 4-3 Nationals over the White Sox, and 7-1 Blue Jays over the Yankees. And there you have your scores around Major League Baseball on this Tuesday night. Man, just really pathetic, man. Pathetic. Here's your most updated standings. I know a lot of stuff is kind of up in the air because there's some games still ongoing. But the Phillies are currently still 3 games ahead of the Diamondbacks, who are winning. Currently, the Cubs are the third wild card team tied with the Marlins. So if the season were to end today, the Phillies would play the Diamondbacks in a best of 3 in Philadelphia. But as I mentioned, magic number is at 8 right now. Hopefully it goes down to 7. Hopefully somebody can help us out and beat the Diamondbacks. That would be nice. Tomorrow, as mentioned, the Phillies will be back at this thing one final time against the Atlanta Braves for the season. Yeah, it's for the season. We will not see the Braves again in the regular season, and probably definitely see them in the postseason. Aaron Nola, as Walter alluded to earlier, will get the nod for the Phillies, and he will go against Bryce Elder. And that game is a 12:20 start out in Atlanta. So a little business person special in Hotlanta to wrap up the set before the Phillies come home to start off a 4-game set against the Mets on Thursday. So there you have 9-3, a very embarrassing loss, very concerning loss, very just lifeless loss. Lifeless, man. Just lifeless. But you know what's not lifeless? And that's here at the Edge of Philly Sports. We got you covered on all aspects of Philly sports and beyond. It is Tuesday night, so you would have been watching some Kelly Green Hour, Birds of the Round Table, Chalk Talking, and then, of course, me. Again, remind you of the rest of the stuff we got going on. Tomorrow's Phightins Final will be hopefully at around the 4 or 5 o'clock hour. It will not be me, but it'll be, I think it's Pat, and we'll try to get that to you before the primetime programming begins here on the network. So be on the lookout for that. And then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, even though we have no Eagles game this weekend, we definitely got you covered. And who else got you covered? That would be the fine folks down there at Dolan's, 24 East Sellers Ave, Ridley Park, Quizzo, music and great times, and memorabilia giveaways. And of course, the number one draw for me. You just never know who might walk through the front door at Dolan's. It might be me one night. It might be old Matty B strolling through the front door. I doubt it, but it might be. Never say never. And if you're heading down, if you want to catch the remaining 2 series left of the Phillies home schedule in 2023, then head over to the Sherry's Ticket Town at www.sherrystickets.com for great prices and no hidden fees on sports, concerts, and theater tickets. Sherry's family owned and operated since 1946. Save an additional 10% when you enter the promo code EOP10. And for all of your workers' compensation, motor vehicle accident, personal injury, or criminal needs, questions, comments, or concerns, Dave Cherry 610-565-0300. Philly Sports Strips, travel like the pros. Head over to phillysportstrips.com today and find out what's a brewing, because there's always something a brewing. Folks, listen, there's really not much more for me to belabor the point here. A concerning loss for the Phillies now on the season. We are 151 games in. Phillies are now 82-69, a putrid 8-10 for the month of September. As I can mentioned, the strikeout average now for the team is now reached over 9 a game, as the Phillies have struck out a total of 1,365 times in 2023, bringing up their average to 9 strikeouts a game. I don't care what era of baseball you're trying to sell me on this and how much you're going to try to tell me this is acceptable. It'll never be acceptable that my entire lineup literally strikes out once through the entire, basically, as I've said this many times, you're telling me that 1 through 9 in the Phillies lineup once a game will strike out, leaving us with about 6 innings of offense to work with, because it takes about 3 innings to go through the lineup one time. That is god awful. And I don't care what era of baseball you're trying to sell me on or what you're trying to tell me about the game that has changed. 9 strikeouts a game is awful. Have I mentioned it's awful? Because it is. The Phillies have now walked 400. Phillies pitchers have now walked 499 batters, well over 3 a game. That is concerning as well. For the season, the Phillies up to 1,335 hits. So again, if you're doing the math, the Phillies have struck out 30 more times than they've hit the ball in 2023. Absolutely confusing. And then the runners in scoring position, it was been decent over the last 1 for 10 so far in this series. I guess it's not decent, but 333 for 1261 for a batting average of 264. And there you have it, man. Just Drek. 8-10 for September. Our September issues continue. Absolutely Drek. And it's pathetic. Pathetic. Joe Winters chimes in, pitching is the problem. Bullpen Braves are better this year. It is, Joe. And I've been saying it a long time, and a lot of others have been saying it too. It really kind of started in the offseason. We just didn't have a good enough plan heading into this season, trying to go with Andrew Painter and Bailey Falter as the back end of the rotation was just not a good enough plan. And it bit us in the butt early in the season. And obviously Andrew Painter getting the whole Tommy John thing was not planned, but how much was he really going to help us out 2023? Really? It was a bad plan. And then we bring in Michael Lorenzen. To the starting rotation's credit, they did stabilize. But now at the worst time, our number 2, 3, 4, and 5 starting pitchers don't seem to be able to kind of get it all together at one time. And as you're heading into the playoffs, instability at the rotation is not what you want. And of course, in the bullpen, is it fatigue? They were used a lot early in the season. Is the fact that they just don't have enough quality arms out there. Every time they throw Dylan Covey out there, reminds me of the fact that they don't have quality arms, because you're turning around this guy every third or fourth day, and we're expected to believe he is an option out of the bullpen, but he is. So that is definitely a concern. But you're right. Pitching wins you world championships. We saw it last year. We saw it personally last year. The Phillies pitchers just ran out of gas down the finish line, and the Astros did not. Is that the case this year? Because they didn't do anything to bolster that rotation in the offseason. They didn't really do much to bolster it at all during in season. Michael Lorenzen obviously is not the answer here. So what makes you think, if we are lucky enough to get back to the World Series, that we don't run into the same problem when it comes to our pitchers breaking down? And that's if we get back to the World Series. Obviously, that's a million miles away from now. So pitching is a concern, both at the starting level and at the bullpen level. So I agree. Aaron Nola is pitching for the Phillies, and I believe, what did I say? I don't remember his name. Bryce Elder is going for the Atlanta Braves there, Joe. So Nola and Elder tomorrow at 12:20 from SunTrust Park in Hotlanta. Phillies and Braves, wrapping up their regular season schedules against each other for 2023. And we will have it for you immediately following the game here on the Phightins Final. It'll be Pat bringing you the action. And watch this game be 20-1 Phillies. And of course, I don't get a chance to cover games like that. I got to talk to you about the 9-3s or the 15-8s or that kind of stuff. No, I don't get the good stuff, right? Why not Matty B, man? Why can't the baseball gods throw me a bone? You know what I mean? I got the Harry the K thing that I do. Haven't been able to do that lately because I just haven't been on for games that they've won. It's getting frustrating, man. It's getting frustrating. But tomorrow, Phillies, Braves, 12:20, SunTrust Park. Phillies will wrap up the series against the Braves and their regular season series as well against the Braves. Until we talk again tomorrow afternoon, go Phils.